So the next bit in geometric is adding up a sequence, okay, to sum it. All right. Now, when you have, this is a slight, I forget what I'm trying to say here, the word, but anyway, when you have the numbers listed individually with commas, that is called a sequence. If you are adding or subtracting, so if, say it was like -4 plus 8, whatever, but when you're combining them to sum them, it is called a series. Okay, slight, I forget the word I'm looking for, but anyway, just understand that when it's commas in between the numbers, it's a sequence. When it's adding, it's a series. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go through how you get the summation formulas. If you want to know, come up here. I'll show you how they do it. But here are the 4 summation formulas. There's really only 2. All right. These 2 are the same here. They just use A in this one and T1 in that one. Obviously, I prefer these, the ones with A. Obviously. And that one. I will give you these formulas. I will write them all on the board. I will give you actually, I'll probably just give you a formula sheet with everything on it. Okay. You don't have to memorize the formulas. All right. The only difference between these two, or these two, it doesn't matter, is this bottom one here. These ones. Use when you know the last term. So if you know the last term, then you can use the bottom formula. And the last term is Tn here. Okay, that's the last term. The top one, you don't have to know the last term. You have to know the number of terms. Okay, that's why it has an N. Other than that, it's just figuring out which formula to use and plugging everything in. Okay, so, and again, I'm not going to do this. If you want to see how they go from this formula, the top formula, to the bottom, I can do that, but we're not going to do that. We're going to skip to the next page and just do some practice questions. All right. Okay, here we go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we can do this. All right. Determine the sum of the first 15 terms of the sequence, -5, 10, -20, ... All right. First thing you have to ask yourself, do you know the last term? No, because it just goes ... So we don't know the last term. If you don't know the last term, the only formula you can use is
The first one.
That one. All right, so we're going to write that formula down. That's the first thing, so you know what you're looking for. Sn is equal to A r to the n minus 1 over r minus 1. S obviously means sum, and the n means the sum of the, how many terms? This is 15, so S15 is what we're looking for. Okay. We need to know A, R, and N. We know N is 15, the number of terms. What's A? -5. What's R? There you go. You just plug it in the formula, and it'll spit out the answer if you punch everything in correctly. I'll show you where people get tripped up. Where do you think people get tripped up here?
The exponent in the brackets?
Yes. The exponent in the brackets. The r to the power of n. Please, for the love of whatever deity, please put it in brackets, people. Okay? And it's -2 to the power of 15 minus 1 times -5. You all have to do that in your calculator right now because you're going to be expected to do it on tests.
Okay, thank you.
Go. I'm going to write up the final answer. It is very important that you practice this.
Oh,
I got a negative number.
You can have a negative number as a sum.
Oh, I got syntax error.
Syntax error is not the answer. Sorry. Syntax error. So negative 2 to the power of 15. Do that.
I want to go 165.
I don't know if this is right, but I got negative 81,923.5.
That's not right. Sorry.
That's not right. Why?
Okay, did you do negative 2 to the 15? Luke?
Yeah, I did negative 2 to 15.
Okay, now go minus 1.
Yeah.
Now times negative 5.
Oh, okay, that probably. I don't know.
It's not over.
Are you doing it all in one line? Okay. Okay. All right. So what'd you get? Okay. Divide by negative 3.
I don't know I'm doing wrong.
Where's the answer?
Yeah, I don't know.
I got the same answer to the 8,000 thing. Wait, what am I doing wrong?
I was thinking it, I didn't say it.
That's already too high.
Well, I mean, you want to do it like
Except when I get to it, no, you're gonna divide that.
It equals every time unless you're really skilled on your calculator.
Oh, wait,
what did you do? What you did? When you got the
Yeah, let's do this, bro. It's so
what
much.
number?
How do you do that? Yeah.
Just so far that's the right one. 1, 6, 3, 4, 5. So you got this one.
Literally.
And then we did the last step.
Are we good?
And that divided by and then you did it's gonna be what you did here was you divided this number by 2 and subtracted. That's what the calculator.
Do that.
Instead of if you would have done negative 2 minus 1 in your head, you would have gotten divided by
That's right.
3.
You know why?
Thank you. As soon as you started the pointer, the thing was like, oh, I think I know what I did wrong. It's just.
All right, here we go. Next question. Determine the sum of the series, blah, 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 blah. Do we know the last term? Yes. So what formula are we using? The bottom one, which is Sn is equal to Rtn minus A over R minus 1. Okay. Here is the only trick when they list it as a series. I shouldn't say the only trick, but the main thing that'll trip people up. You always take the sign that is in front of the number. Okay? So if you wrote this as a sequence, it would be 4, negative 12, 36, dot, 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 dot. And the last term would be negative 8748. Okay? So what is my A value? What's my R value? I wrote A is equal to R. R is negative 3. Okay? So now you can see that the R value is negative 3. What's Tn? What's Tn? The last term. So this is Tn. Okay? Now you just got to plug it all in the formula. That's a 4, sorry. That's a 4. I'll erase it, make it a 4. 4. All right, again, we're going to see if people can do this. We ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? Syntax error, I will tell you, is never the answer.
What?
Sorry.
I'd be top of the class in this next.
Okay, -6, 5, 6.
I'm going to make that a multiple choice question.
Oh, you should.
Or make it an option in a multiple choice question.
No, I want you as well. I want you to make it the
Huh?
right answer.
Yeah, it's in the thousands.
Mr. Baldwin, you should have the question on the test be like multiple choice. One of the answers is syntax error, and it should literally be syntax error. Like make the answer that it is involved. The answer, trick question.
Dude, I would have been having an
Is that it? -6560?
Let's go.
A is equal to 4 and R is equal to -5.
Yep.
Where do you pull this from?
-12 divided by 4. To get your R value. And A is just the first term. All right, next one. Here we go. The sum of a certain number of terms in a series, blah, 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 is -104,858. You have to read the questions. So this is not your last term. This is the sum. Okay? It's asking what is the last term, i.e., what is Tn, that would make this series add up to -104, blah, 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 blah. So we're looking for the last term. So we have to use the formula that has the last term. Correct?
Yeah.
That would make sense. So Sn is equal to R Tn minus A over R minus 1. That's the formula we have to use. What's my A value? -2. What's my R value? Okay. And you know Tn is what you're trying to find, and we know the sum is -104. Plug it in. And then it's just algebra. Don't like algebra? Sorry. Now, here's another place that people will mess up. It's minus A. And if A is negative, that becomes?
Positive.
Oh shoot.
There you go. See, somebody got nailed. All right, I'm going to let you algebra that to get the answer.
So Tn is equal to R minus A over like that. So it's algebra the solution before I actually put it
This should be a whole number. You did it wrong. You're welcome. It's what I do. Point out what people did wrong.
I got it. Let's go. Wait, what'd you get, Fraser? 72.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's definitely algebra.
-131,072.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't do that.
That would be why you got it wrong.
Wait, but I thought we know where to go.
No, we don't need to.
That's what you're looking for.
Well, it's the better team with the glasses.
Yeah, but we don't know that. Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? All right, here we go. In a geometric sequence, the fifth term is 1024. So that means T5 is equal to 1024. The common ratio is 4. What value is that? That's our R value. Find the sum of the first 7 terms of the sequence. Okay. We don't know the last term, right? But we know T5. So we're going to use the formula Sn is equal to A Rn minus 1 over R minus 1. So I know R already. They give it to us. They tell us it's 4. But to use this formula, I need to know A. But they give us the other piece of information, which is T5.
Okay, it's like, well, we have the 4, and we know that one of, like, 1024 is the 5th sequence, so can't we just go backwards from there?
Yep. Because T5 is AR to the 4th, right? So if you plug your R value in, which we already know, we can solve for A. So you're going to get A is equal to 4. A lot of 4s. Does that make sense so far? Yes, are we okay?
You're okay.
Because
All right.
know the R value, so it's four. Right? So then we take that.
They're asking us for the sum of the first 7 terms. So that is n is equal to 7. So this formula becomes S7 is equal to A, which is 4, R, which is 4 to the power of 7, minus 1 over R, which is 4 minus 1. You can, but it's not necessary when it's not a negative. It only becomes absolutely necessary when it's a negative. So again, calculator time, people. Do we have it? Do we have it? Do we have it?
Hold on,
Buddy? Buckaroo. Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? Oh my gosh, people.
Like up here, or like still my okay, bro. Oh, now you're just like, ow.
Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready?
Yes.
Boom. 21844. Okay. I got 2 more questions to do. So let's do this one first, and then we'll do the other question. Okay. The sum of n terms of a series is 16,400. So they're giving us the sum. There's our sum. That's not Tn, that's a sum. All right. How many terms are in this series? That's the question. Close. Not really. Okay. So that is the sum. This is our A value. What's our R value? 3. Okay. Which formula are we going to use for sum? The one with the last term or the one without the last term? Without the last term. Plug in everything you know. I know Sn is 1640 or 400. I know my A value is 5. I know R is 3. Because they're asking for the number of terms, which means we're trying to find n. Okay? All right. Now, everybody should be either very happy or very sad, I guess, or indifferent, but that would be all the options there are. So you're one of those 3. Anyway, why would you be very sad? So our unknown is an exponent, which usually means logs. However, we could either use logs or a common base. I'm going to leave it up to you. All right? Solve this equation. Go. Simplify it as far as you can first, though. All right? Don't jump straight to logs because that's going to get really ugly really quickly if you don't simplify this. So simplify it as much as you can.
So 3 to 1. Oh, it's 3 to the power of 8. Just try. Look at that. No, it's not. Yeah. 1640. 3 to the power of 8. 6561. 3 to the power of 8. Now, where did you get that?
Okay, thank you, Fraser. I got this.
Yeah, that's so n is equal to 8.
That's where you should simplify it to before you even think about logs. 3 minus 1 is 2. And then multiply this by 2 to get this. Divide off the 5 to get this. And then add the 1 to get this. Then you can start thinking about logs or a common base.
Times up 3 minus 1 then divided by 5.
Wait, why not 5 and 1?
You times these both with her, so it's like this 3 minus 1. Once you get rid of this, you times it by
I still love that they're literally.
Yeah.
So like this.
There's your two choices.
See, I'm just saying that one looks a lot prettier than the other.
One on the left? I would agree.
It's a lot nicer to look at.
I would agree with that. All right. Are we done? Are we done? Are we done? Chop, chop, chop. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Let's do, we got one more question. Everybody go to page 353, please. All right. Shh. Okay. Let's do question. You want to do question 7? Let's do question 7. You think the mom's dumb? Yeah? All right. Well, let's see how smart this kid is. All right. So, last question. We have a mother during a hectic day was convinced by her son that he should have a weekly allowance that is doubled every 2 weeks. In weeks 1 and 2, he gets 1 cent. In weeks 3 and 4, he gets 2 cents, and then it doubles every 2 weeks. Okay. So if you write this as a geometric, it's like he gets a cent. So this is, I'm going to call it T1 and T1 because it's the same number. And then it doubles 2 weeks later. That's a cent symbol. To 2 cents. That's T2, T2, etc. So how many times does it double in 30 weeks? 15 times, right? So they want to know how much he makes in the 30th week. So that's a double of 15 times. Correct? Does everybody, that make sense to everybody? So we're actually finding T15, right? What's my A value? 1 cent. What's my R value? And N is 15 minus 1. So basically we're doing 2 to the 14. Which is 16,384 cents, which is, wow. In the real world, it's $163 and 84 cents is how much he gets in the last week. Here is the question. This is the more impressive question, though. How much does he make in his 30 weeks total. So how much does he get total in the 30 weeks? So it's a geometric, so we can do a summation. We know the last number, right? We know what T15 is, okay? But just a sec here. If you were going to add it up by hand, I'm not asking you to, but if you were going to, if you look at this, it's like T1 plus T1, which is 2 T1s, correct? So this is actually what you'd be adding. 2T1 plus 2T2 plus dot, 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 dot. So there's a 2 in front of every term. I can factor that 2 out. That's exactly what you're going to do. Because there is no point. Well, I mean, you could do it, but I wouldn't. This is just S15. So find the sum to 15, multiply it by 2, and that's how much he's made over the 30 weeks. So let's do S15. We know the last term, so we're going to use R T15 minus 1 over R minus 1. R value is 2. T15 is this, what we calculated in the first one. Minus 1 over 2 minus 1. All right. Yes, it needs to be in cents. Yeah, it needs to be in cents. Yeah. Has to be in cents, thank you. And I should have just looked at mine because it was in cents. 16384. There we go. Take the decimal away. All right, tell me what the answer is, please. Well, okay. So if you do this bit, you'll get 327.67. But what do you have to remember to do? Multiply it by 2, because that's just the sum of the first 15. But we got to multiply it by 2, right? So that's S15.
Wait, are you multiplying the 2 by a 163.82?
No, 16384.
Thank you.
So then it's 2 times 32767, which is 65534. Which in the real world is $655.34. Or in other people's world, it's like 6.534 cents or something. I don't know what it is.
He's talking about like if you're converting Canadian to American.
Or
you're just being like
I didn't want to say the name, but
We don't call people out, but slave people.
seriously?
Just like right.
I don't want you to be my accountant. Yeah, but then I go to jail, not you. All right, here's your questions. Number 1, pick 2. Number 2, pick 2. 3, 5, 6, 8, and 9. Question 8 here is a very, very, very famous problem. I really encourage you to do question 8. That is the end of the lesson. Thank you.